Yeah.
Check. Check.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Check.
I wish I knew how to freestyle now. I'm just like,
Check.
I wish I knew how to freestyle now.
I know. You know, that's not my body.
Yeah. Next time.
Check.
Oh wow, that transition.
You recording?
Yeah. I like that.
There we go. That works. Hi y'all. Welcome to Where's the Time Gone? This is our 13th episode.
13.
Yeah,
Wow.
we've been doing this for a minute.
Lucky number 13.
Friday the 13th is actually this Friday.
Is it really?
Yes.
I'm scared.
Oh,
And
wow.
they're doing free tattoos in the city.
The 13th
Not free tattoos, but discounted tattoos.
The 13th episode on Friday the 13th.
Oh,
This
fuck
is gonna
me,
be
bro.
wild. All right.
Shit.
Yeah, I'm excited. We're gonna be talking about minorities and STEAM and Nat Stevens, and I think we got a good couple of people here.
Yeah.
This is also the first episode that we're recording on
Woo.
video. Shout out to Akash for volunteering to do this.
Hey,
This
hey.
is super glad he's here.
I love you, Akash.
Thank you. Appreciate the love.
Yeah, so you know who I am, Julian Hernandez, 5 out of 5, doing the usual music tech stuff and leadership around campus. With me, I have DuJaun, I got Josh, and I got Akash.
Mhm.
I don't know how we're gonna get myself in this. Like, I don't know if we're gonna do like a.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so DuJaun, you want to start with DuJaun? We can do little
Okay.
introductions around the circle.
So just a refresher. It's been a while, y'all. My name is DuJaun. I'm a visual arts and technology major. I'm a senior now, so I'll be graduating soon. Leadership on campus. I mean, I've done stuff with like the Black population, so like BSU. I was on an SBE board at once, Black Affairs Council. There's a few honor societies there. I'm an RA, and I'm gonna stop there because I don't know. I can't think of anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I feel that.
But yeah, that's it.
Oh, okay, it's me now? Okay.
Yeah.
So I am Joshua Jean Hector. Everyone calls me Josh. I am a 3 out of 5 software engineering major here at Stevens Institute of Technology and all that. Current president of the Black Student Union, as well as a member of the National Society of Black Engineers. I'm also an RA here. I'm part of Gear Triangle. I'm also a brother of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, charter brother. That's pretty much it. I'm just gonna leave it at that for now. So,
And Akash.
I'm like I don't have as much experience as you guys, but I'm a 2 out of 5 computer engineering major. I'm actually on co-op right now, so that's a lot of fun. It makes me have time for things like this. Don't really have to worry about homework or tests or quizzes, so that's honestly the greatest blessing I've had this semester so far. It just really opens up different perspectives. Last semester I was a web chair for IUA. I'm still doing that this semester. Last semester I was also a social media ambassador for Student Life. So I'm exposing myself right here, but Stevens students, I help run that account.
Yeah, buddy.
Shout me out more, yo.
That's like my main thing. Now we'll see who listens to this podcast. If they see me around campus, they'll know. But yeah, those are like my two things. And then I'm also a brother of Sigma Phi Epsilon.
Mm-hmm.
I joined last semester, and one of the best decisions I made so far. So loving life right now.
Did you say peer leader?
Oh yeah, you cannot forget that. I feel like I need to.
Everybody always forgets peer leader already in their intros, bro.
It's like a part of our life. It's like
yeah, it's just like,
it's like my
we
favorite
wake up in the morning.
It's like we're just peer leader. It's like a full time thing. Like, you don't even think about it anymore.
Sounds like a cult.
yeah.
The Stevens cult.
Let's not
Okay.
talk about diseases right now. It's a sensitive topic. But yeah. So I do want to put this disclaimer in there. Obviously, we don't represent all of the minorities on campus,
yes.
and these
Facts.
opinions are just our own and our own experiences at Stevens.
Mm-hmm.
Facts.
Yeah. And if you have any differing opinions, we love to hear them. So
Of course.
listen, let us know what you think.
Yes.
Anyway, so I guess we can start with Josh.
Oh, damn. All right.
You have-
Start with the engineer.
Yeah, we'll start with the engineer.
We'll start
the
with
new
the
guy.
engineer.
All right,
your-
cool.
What's your experience been like at Stevens?
That's a really good question. I mean, I feel like I've had definitely a lot of ups and downs here at Stevens. Definitely a lot of ups because I've definitely been able to break out of my own show, coming to Stevens and such. Basically, when I was in high school, I didn't have any type of leadership positions, and I was kind of just doing my own thing, just making sure I got good grades. And then obviously I had the GPA, high enough GPA where I was able to come to Stevens. And once I got to Stevens, everything kind of just flipped once I heard about the RA position. Because no offense, but enticed me because I could get free women board. And my first year, I was actually a commuter, so that's why I strive extremely hard in order to actually get that position. And then from that point on, I kind of just got multitude of leadership positions, and it kind of just fell on my lap, pretty much. And I feel like now I wasn't a natural born leader, but I could say for right now, based off who I've interacted with as well as who I'm friends with, that I've become a leader that I'm definitely proud to be right now. And that's basically what I've learned most at Stevens is being able to learn more about myself, more than anywhere else in my life. So
man. That's cool. I definitely do want to say I feel like there is no such thing as a natural born leader. It's you just got to step out, trust yourself.
Yeah.
So yeah, glad to see you did that because I've known you since you were a freshman too.
Yeah,
Seen the whole glow up.
Hey, no, I say that all the time.
oh man. That's
actually.
crazy. I mean, freshman year was a while ago. I mean, it's probably a while ago for y'all, because y'all old as fuck.
Yeah,
but
no,
for me, it feels I feel like I'm 25, even though I'm 20.
Yeah.
I'm
Look at that.
young
How
as
much
hell.
time you got left?
Yeah, I still got 2 years left.
Exactly. So
Yeah, bro. Don't
he
even.
only getting
don't
started.
Even
He
come
only
at me.
getting started.
That's what I'm saying.
He only getting started.
But what was your hometown like? Was it was the demographic similar to this or not?
That's not really. It was definitely a lot more minorities. It was definitely more diverse.
Yeah.
The thing about me is that I really grew up in a suburban area type shit.
Yeah.
So coming to Stevens, it was kind of just the same shit over and over again. Especially during middle school, high school. I grew up around a lot of white people anyway. So I wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't it was a different environment. It was more I had to just adapt to where I'm at type of thing. And with society ever changing, with people being more inclusive and diversity being at the forefront of a lot of things that we do here on campus, I'm glad I'm able to actually be a part of that as well. So,
Yeah, man. How about you, DuJaun? What was your?
This is actually the complete opposite.
Mhm.
So I grew up in Newark / East Orange. And the demographic in the schools I went to, all the towns, it was basically all black. Really, I was around black people my whole life. So coming here was definitely a culture shock, I guess you can say.
Yeah.
But it didn't bother me as much. But it bothered me, but not as much as I thought it would. That's why I feel my freshman year, I was not doing anything, at all. I was doing bullshit.
Mhm.
Anything as in leadership. I was not doing anything because I just didn't feel I fit in here, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I guess I was just nervous to step out of my comfort zone at the time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I've learned over the years, not even just in college, that stepping out of your comfort zone is what's gonna do the job. So once I did that, that's when I started becoming a leader.
Mhm.
And for me, it started when I first did pre-college, and then RA. But pre-college was when it first started, to be honest.
Mhm.
And then that's about it.
How were you able to adapt from your old hometown to coming to Stevens?
Okay, I guess we're being honest. Okay, so for me, I just thought I mean, I still do, but I just thought at the time everybody was just weird because they were different. I just thought they were weird. I was I'm not talking to you. I don't really have time to be adapting to this. I think y'all weird. Y'all don't really get me. I don't get y'all.
This ain't my
So
cup of tea. I ain't going to
exactly. So I was just I guess you can say I would avoid it. I would just avoid interacting with white people.
Of course.
And I mean I knew that wasn't the best thing to do. So I just found ways to do it. And the best way I found to do it was just being myself. I mean, if they don't understand me, they don't understand me, whatever. Fuck it.
Facts.
But yeah, that's basically it. My adaptation is just me being myself.
Yeah. For me, Akash, you could probably talk about this a little bit too. For
Yeah,
me,
sure.
when I got here, I came from a suburban town as well, so it wasn't very diverse. There was one person that spoke Spanish and I knew, and that was because they moved from Perth Amboy.
Okay.
And there wasn't that many colored people, period.
Mhm.
So when I got here, I felt it was more visible, at least. I knew more minorities here than I did at home, which is kind of crazy.
Really?
But
That's
yeah,
wild.
for
That
me,
is really insane.
yeah. For me, I at least interacted with more minorities here because the other part was I did marching band and shit, which is
white.
Yeah.
Actually, it's actually not though.
It's not that big.
Because
yeah,
in
I was saying.
HBCUs, it's actually really
Yeah,
big.
exactly.
So
Yeah, but
but
for that town, it was it was very
mhm,
it was just very not diverse.
that makes sense.
And
Yeah.
especially Old Bridge, I felt like it was very you had money, and then there was like part of Old Bridge that didn't have money, but like they didn't really do anything. Like they didn't get involved a lot in the school kind
Mhm.
of stuff.
Mm.
And I remember the first year I did it, there was like 2 guys who were older that were from like I guess like we call them it was Glenwood Apartments, and they were black and like they would make Wild 'N Out jokes on the bus all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know what that was. Like I had never heard of Wild 'N Out, so they would do family reunion on the bus. I didn't learn about what I didn't find out what family reunion was until like 3 years ago,
Wow,
What?
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
crazy.
which is
That's how
crazy.
you know it's part of our culture. Black culture. We
Facts.
love that.
And it was like, it was all of this for me. It was all of these. My entire childhood, it was a lot of like, I love that, but I didn't know what that was or see it anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, my mom would talk about BB King. I never heard BB King anywhere else. Like, we didn't hear it at school or anything. So
Mm-hmm.
it was just a lot of that. When I got here, it was like, I dove in the bubble really hard. And for a couple years, like, I was really hardcore, like, stuck in the bubble. Like, really hardcore. And the first year being PL was the first year that I, like, stepped out of that bubble since I got to Stevens, which for me was, like, it was really crazy. I learned a lot about, like, just interacting with the entire world in general.
I feel that.
Because the one thing I definitely feel like at Stevens, it's really, really easy to stay in your bubble.
It is so easy.
That is
It's
very
true.
And
true.
that's whether you're a minority or a majority. Like, it's really, really easy to just get stuck in the bubble.
Yeah.
And I feel like the 2 main positions on campus that really push people to get out of their bubble are RA and PL.
Yeah.
I feel like those are the really only 2 things that kind of do that.
And I feel like it's even worse for like a minority being stuck in the
Yeah.
bubble.
Mhm.
Because
'Cause
not
it-
only do they feel lonely, like, you know,
For us,
but
we
also
get
like because of their skin. So.
yeah, and we get kind of gravitate towards the bubble 5 times harder because like we really don't fit in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the place where we really, really are comfortable. It's like it's really easy for us.
Just
You know what I was
stay
thinking
there,
just
so.
now? Because I'm looking at, I'm like, okay, Cal engineer. Like, you know, another thing that adds on to it is being like, you know, a Cal major.
Yeah, and I'm
From the
hoping to talk
get-go,
about
like-
that in the student episode because I've been talking to. That's the conversation that I have a lot, especially with the work that I've done. I've been talking about like bringing the Cal networking event here and just getting attention to the school in general. Like
Yeah.
it's bubbles are really for me. I feel like they're really prevalent,
Mm-hmm.
and for me, like I always joke that I joined my fraternity because I came to the Domino's event where we were just playing dominoes and like I never had other people that I could play dominoes with other than like my grandfather. Like that was it.
No, I feel that. I feel that.
But I feel like I really got stuck in that bubble for a while.
Yeah, like just to piggyback off that, like the term of like the bubble. I feel like even if you get out of your bubble, quote unquote, you just get stuck into another one. at some points in time, especially when you're at Stevens, because I feel like there's just a multitude of those bubbles, and everyone is just in one. If that makes sense, like no one is ever just kind of free flowing through communities and things like that. You're always a part of one community. Like for me, coming into Stevens, like I didn't really have a community. I was kind of like, well, I was part of the commuter community. We'll call it that, right? Then I was like always hanging around commuters and things of that nature. But then once I became an RA and dwelled more into BSU, I got more into the BSU community, and then I got dwelled into more of the minority community and things of that nature. And then after that, I joined frat. Then there's the frat community. Then there's the sorority community and things of that nature. And obviously being a part of that bubble, it's just basically your comfort zone, and it's hard to like get out of that, you know. And as you said, like
shout out to before when we were talking about being comfortable, being uncomfortable.
exactly.
You gotta get in your stretch zone.
So like as you said, like your comfort zone and the 2 positions like RA and PL, you're forced to be out of your comfort zone. Like you're not trained, like no offense to PLs, you know what I'm saying? But you're not gonna have the enthusiasm on 10 every single time for Stevens. Right? You're not gonna do that. But it forces you, being a PL forces you to do that. You know what I'm saying? And of course you're gonna love your job. It's just that when you see it from the outside looking in, I'm like, yo, what the fuck y'all doing? You know what I'm saying?
Like you on the outside, you're probably like, y'all gassing this
Y'all
shit.
gassing the shit out of this shit. But at the same time, like if y'all love doing it, y'all love doing it, but y'all also getting out of your own comfort zone. And I have mad respect for you for that. You feel me? But also as an RA, for what we do, like for example, me and DuJaun, we have to talk to people about mental health all the time. We have to hold our own events that people probably won't even go to. We also have to like have these deadlines that we have to do, as well as talk to certain people and hire management and things of that nature. That's just getting getting out of our own comfort zone. And then when it comes to RAs, it's like split between on campus and lease housing, and there's just that's two different communities as well in terms of like vibe. Because on campus, y'all got to be pro Stevens all the time and make sure freshmen are always okay. While lease housing, you could be real with these people, especially since you're able to tell them like and talk to them as if they were actually like real people and not just students, because they got their own shit that they got going on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
While freshmen, it's like the first time getting here, so you know they might be overwhelmed by the independence and being alone and the new transition through
You gotta
Stevens,
hold it down.
and you gotta hold it down, and they might be in that bubble that they're not being able to like get out of, and you gotta help them get out of that comfort zone as well.
That was something that for us was really prevalent being PLs. Like they always said, like they're gonna come at like 1/3 of your energy. That was why like we always push ourselves to be over the top.
Yeah, exactly.
Because especially freshmen, it's like if you can't get them to be even somewhat enthusiastic about the fact that they're getting into college, like they just gonna hate it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like it's too easy to fall into that pill. It's like, yo, I'm doing homework. I ain't got nobody around me that feels like me. At least right now, like I haven't found those people yet. This is a completely new environment. I don't know what's going on. Like, it's really easy to focus on the bad. So it's even more important in those kind of cases to focus on the good.
Especially with like doing those icebreakers early on, like it kind of forces them to introduce themselves and like get that first bubble going, you know? Just like get that first friend group in, so that when they are going through the first month or so, they at least have those people to go to. So like I think that's like the true value of icebreakers, like that most people might not even think about.
Yeah, man.
I'm glad you brought up the RA / like PL purpose and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I feel like for RA, the one thing that stands out right now, like in this conversation, is that like you can be an RA and be yourself, like and you can flourish. To be honest, like they'll make you a leader by you just being yourself, just learning how to be a leader by being yourself. You know. So I mean, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that was like really helpful for me and my leadership here at Stevens.
Yeah, especially lately, one of the biggest things on my mind is just encouraging people to be the most them that they can be.
Yeah,
right. It's like yesterday on my Instagram, one of the lines I wrote was, "No one else can be you, so you better do it the best that you can." Kind of thing, right? So, yeah, and especially I feel like especially for minorities, it's like you're the only one that can be yourself.
Yeah, fair.
And especially for me, I'm one of those. I identify with those minorities that like. Yeah, I'm Hispanic, but I didn't grow up speaking Spanish. Right?
Retweet.
Like it's that middle ground where it's like you are clearly a minority, but you're also clearly not from just that culture. Yeah. Right? It's like you grew up being, for lack of a better term, American.
Yeah.
Which I think is another.
Like I would say, like growing up, like just to backpack off that, like I'm Dominican and Haitian. Yeah. Didn't really grow up speaking Spanish. Well, that's because I had a speech impediment. I don't have it now anymore. But something that was really like helpful to me when it came to like leaders was to have leaders that were of like the Black race or minorities in general. Yeah. Because I was able, even though I didn't have that like a lot in my life, coming to Stevens and seeing like BSU and things of that nature and see students kind of take the initiative in terms of like being the footholders on campus. Like for example, like Jose Angeles, who unfortunately graduated, Gabby, who also graduated, DuJaun who's about to graduate as well. Yeah. Like people like that, like I see them as like, yo, y'all doing shit on this campus, like that. I feel like I could do that too. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I kind of gravitate a lot towards and have a lot of pride in terms of being a leader as well as being Black at the same time. You know, because not a lot of people see that, especially growing up. So
and I think it's important to be that person. It's like, yo, I'm this person and like you can do it too. Like especially in the minority community, like, for me that's one of the biggest things is like, yeah, it's hard, but I made it and so can you, kind of thing. And I think that was one of the things that I've been thinking about lately, about how do I want to impact people that come after me. right?
Mhm.
And I think that kind of goes into the overarching thing of the whole point of this podcast is talking with people that have been through a lot and like, yo, this is some of our experiences, and you're probably gonna go through similar things, and you're not alone.
Yeah.
Like no one's special, and that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I was just thinking over here because it's so funny you mentioned Jose because right when you were like talking about like who you like look up to basically,
Mhm.
I thought about Jose because I remember my freshman year, I think Ship or LA did an event where they basically had like people blindfold themselves and then like you
Yep.
talk to them like
Yep.
and he was a person I was like matched up with and like we were just talking about like his leadership and mind you I'm a freshman so like this is all new to me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And we had a conversation about just like leadership and like why he does what he does, even though it only impacts a small number of people.
Yeah.
At that time. And so I was like, you know what? I guess it kind of broke through to me. So, you know, shout out to Jose for, you know, encouraging me.
I feel like everybody's got those couple of people.
Yeah.
Like for me, it was Ryan and Josh.
Mhm.
For me, those are the OGs. I actually just texted Ryan this morning too.
Mhm.
But yeah, I feel like everybody's got those people. It's like they made me believe that I could do that.
Yeah.
I think it's important for us to do the same
Mhm.
and just not forget that there's other people behind us that we're kind of the role models for. You know?
Yeah.
That's facts.
I
That's very
forgot
much facts.
someone mentioned that basically to me, like making sure that I have someone to, you know, take over the stuff that I've, you know, done.
Yeah.
And you know that just gets me thinking, like you know, like who's going to be the next person, and I kind of get that to the way I look at people or like talk to them. Not all people, but people in particular in like BSU or that are Black who would show like they want to be a leader. So you know, I learned that I think that was last year, and I've been thinking about it this whole year. So you know, it's kind of stressful too because like you don't know, you can't really predict the future. You can just see from what you see. Like you don't know if someone's quiet and could be a great leader.
Yeah.
'Cause that's how I was. Like
Yeah, I was like that too.
I feel
Not
like,
gonna lie.
you know,
for me, I feel like you can always kind of tell from the energy, though.
I guess
For
true.
me, that's I feel like everybody that a couple people come to my head that I've seen since like freshman year. And I was like, you gonna be it. Actually, Josh is one of them.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I'll appreciate that.
Yo, for facts, I was I knew your freshman year and whatever, and yeah, we were having like a one-on-one or interview or something, and I was just like, this kid's gonna be one of those kids on campus. And there's a couple of them that I just saw the way, just their energy, that you could just feel it. Like they give you a different feeling.
No,
Not that I'm getting feelings from little kids. Right?
Do some people surprise you though? Like, is there anybody that surprised you? Like, can you think of anyone
that may
Yeah.
surprise you or has surprised you.
has surprised you? Yeah,
I can't think of anybody that surprised me.
he surprised me.
Nah, bro.
I'm not saying that like I didn't see it,
Uh-huh.
but at the time, like I said, like he was like kind of quiet.
Kinda. I was very quiet. I remember that for a fact. I was like very quiet.
But then again, he was always at our BSU meetings and stuff. So
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I should have known. But yeah, that was just a surprise to me. I'm trying to think of if there's anybody else who surprised me. It's always a surprise. I feel like.
There's always, yeah. For me, it was, and this is the thing. It's like, I honestly feel like anybody can be a leader.
Yeah.
Right. And it's especially us being the ones in this room, peer leaders, RAs. It's extremely important to make sure that everybody believes that anybody can be a leader.
Mhm.
Right. It's the only way that somebody's going to be a leader is if they believe that they can be one.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Just a backtrack because I wrote something down. It was
Yeah.
about like personal legacy versus personal development.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I remember
that's huge.
I remember like now currently since I'm the president of Black Student Union and I have a complete basically my whole entire e-board minus the one is all sophomores and I'm like the oldest one even though I'm only like a 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like tasked, like it was kind of daunting at first. So it was kind of intimidating in order to kind of task them in terms of being able to run an entire student-run organization, as well as backpacking off of the previous administration, as well as like winning unity and having all these events and everything.
Yeah.
Being able to like backpack off that and make them believe in themselves in terms of being able to like handle BSU because it's such a big name. I would say it's a big name on campus now. And it was hard to do, especially since I was on co-op literally last fall. So literally the first semester, like where we're going to be doing all these organizations, I'm not even on campus. You know what I'm saying? And me personally, like I'm not the type of person to kind of seek out like who's gonna be the next leader of BSU. I'm not that type of person.
Yeah.
I'm more or less kind of surveying the scene and seeing who's dedicated to running an organization or who's dedicated to the organization itself. So it could be based off of like how much work you do for BSU or if you come to the events. Because I'm just focused on making BSU as lit as possible or making it as exclusive as possible. You know what I'm saying? That's my own mission in terms of doing that. And if I have a personal legacy at the end of it, great, but I'm not looking for that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As long as I do the good work within BSU, that's all that really matters. And if it's able to impact somebody else, like DuJaun said, like if it's able to impact somebody else and things of that nature, then great. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if anybody want to ask me for help, I'm all for that because I'm always willing to help other people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm always trying to look for people and try to look through people, quote unquote, not to be blunt, but whoever like tries to go for student-run organizations simply because they want a big name rather than have the passion for what they're actually working towards.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
That brings up another point from one of the previous podcasts, passion.
Yeah.
Being one of the biggest things that you need to have to run or be a leader.
Yo, just know
really.
what you're passionate about.
Yeah,
And don't try to
exactly,
act
yeah.
like you're passionate about something you're not.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
yeah, exactly.
It's like at the end of the day, the truth always wins, right? Like
Yeah.
people will see right through that.
Yeah.
and for like, y'all, I'll be honest, I chase things that I wasn't passionate about. I
Like,
did
you
it.
do? Oh, you've done you did.
I did it. I did it. And even though I didn't see it, other people saw it. And for me, that's why I believe that I didn't get as far in the things that I wasn't passionate about
Mm-hmm.
because people could feel it.
Exactly.
Like
yeah.
it,
That's true.
like, and even if they can't feel that you're not passionate, they can feel that the other people are more passionate.
Yeah.
I think that was something big for me.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's almost like you have to go to that extreme of realizing that to then come back and be like, okay, what am I actually passionate about? And like
Yeah.
refocus on things that you're involved in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
I feel like for me that was only always the one thing I remembered. This is just like everything that I do, like I'm passionate about. So everything that I like had like Ebro positions in, like I'm passionate about. Like I'm not gonna do it if I don't really want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking about honestly. I'm thinking about Grand Triangle right now because I'm only on Grand Triangle e-board for like this semester because I'm about to graduate. But that kind of just shows how much I do care.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There is a little bit of passion there. Like
Yeah.
I do feel like its purpose is very like it's great, it's strong. It just needs some work. I'm up for the challenge, but like I mean, and it's like it's working. We're doing good.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. That just came to my head. I just literally kept thinking Grand
Yeah.
Triangle.
Refocusing a little bit. What do you think of some of the looking forward to working on getting jobs and professional development? Are you on co-op
Currently,
or in the co-op program?
yeah, I'm in the co-op program.
So you've like been in workplaces and whatnot.
yes.
All right. So like doing professional development, getting in industries, jobs, professional networking and development. What are some of the ways that you've been able to really do that most effectively as a minority at Stevens?
Mm. This is regards to like working within like professional settings or like in general. Just,
Professional
like,
settings is just like, because I know, for example, Jose, his big thing ship. He
of
loves
course,
ship.
of course.
And I think for good reason. Mentor and giving people a place where they feel comfortable and a place where they may otherwise feel uncomfortable, especially in
Mhm.
engineering. Not very diverse field, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So giving Hispanics a way and Latinos a way to kind of find people that they're comfortable with to show them the ropes and kind of get them in the door. So what have been some of the things for you that have helped you get out there and be comfortable being yourself in the workplace and professional environments?
I would say like most definitely would probably be the organizations I'm a part of now has
Yeah.
been able to help me do that because being able to be myself is very pivotal in terms of where I am here at Stevens.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you really can't fake being passionate. You really can't fake being a leader. You really can't fake doing good work, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. Especially if you're like out there and being represented in any sort of leadership capacity or as a minority in general, like you have to voice your concerns. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why I go out to like events and things of that nature because I'm gonna say that not any one organization really gets me to the point where I'm like, I need to like be somebody else, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
if I'm passionate about something, I'm gonna go out and do it. If I'm passionate about something or if I'm passionate about supporting something, I'm gonna go support it. like for example, diversity education, if they have an event based off like Martin Luther King, I love Martin Luther King, I'm gonna go out to that event. Simple as that. But say if IUA wants to collab on an event based off of like different foods within different cultures, at the same time, like I might not have as much passion as that other than Martin Luther King. You know what I'm saying? Because when it comes to like culture, and I'm gonna delve off a little bit about culture. When it comes to culture, it's not just about food. You know what I'm saying? So there's that type of thing, right? So when I got into a lot of leadership positions here on campus, as well being a minority on campus, I saw a lot of people be kind of fake in terms.
So, little disclaimer, we missed a little bit of a minute, so you're just gonna look at a black screen for a bit.
Sorry about that. We're learning though.
Of what they want to do and who like which clique they a part of type shit.
Yeah.
And they kind of realized too late, like, yo, I don't have to be a part of this group in order to do good work, or I don't have to do this in order to do good work. You know what I'm saying? So me, I was able to kind of build off my own brand from the ground up, being a person that wasn't really a part of any leadership positions or wasn't a part of, like, for example, I wasn't in STEP. I wasn't even in STEP when I got to Stevens. I wasn't in Bridge or nothing like that. You feel me? So I had to kind of step up and be like, yo, how am I gonna make myself different from everybody else, right?
Yeah.
And that being different, quote unquote, is just being yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's basically it.
100% all it is.
That's literally all it is. So me, like, I was like, yo, I like this shit, but I'm gonna do it. Yeah. That's it. Simple as that. You know? So I like BSU. I got part of E-Board. Fuck it. I'm gonna be president too. You know what I'm saying? It's really that simple to me. There's really no which way about it. If you have the time for it, then you're gonna put good work into it. So
yeah, man. Facts. DuJaun, you've been here for a minute. What are some things you'd like to see from Stevens?
I don't know what I'm about to say, but my answer is probably gonna be geared toward Black people.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm putting that out there. I mean, as of right now, I feel like as of right now, we've been getting like the coverage that we deserve, like because it was just Black History Month.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that there's leaders that we've been bringing up who are Black, who have a face on campus, who have a voice, and we try to keep that voice there. I don't know. In terms of like, I could think like several different ways. So I mean, they can always increase, Black faculty / staff.
Yeah, definitely.
That's for sure. Like, so we have more people to advocate for us. Just so we feel comfortable, especially for freshmen who don't see anybody like themselves. They see someone higher up like them, then be more comfortable.
For me, going off of that, it's like in the music tech program, we take a class called music history.
Mm-hmm.
It's not music history; it's Western European music history. Like, like it's important. That's where like classical music came from. Air quotes heavily on classical music, but also it's like that's only one culture, and it's kind of, if you label that just music history and that be the only class, you're kind of labeling that as the only music history that matters.
Yeah, fact.
Which I know that they don't do that intentionally, but I feel like simply having some faculty that could teach some courses other than just one culture, I think is super important.
Going back to your question, one thing when I go visit my friends at other schools, like Georgetown, amazing school, beautiful, love it. And they show their appreciation for the Black students, and they show that like they deserve attention. And one of the things that they have a Black house, like they have a house dedicated to the Black students at Georgetown University. And I think that is something that Stevens can do. Like, for the longest, I've always thought, I'm like, y'all could at least make a floor in the building for Black students. So honestly, in the university towers, whenever that comes up, they should have a Black floor, or it does not even just a Black floor, have like several floors that's dedicated to like certain themes, or like I guess ethnicities. Maybe we shouldn't separate it by like ethnicities completely, but if you had an option for a Black floor, I think people would be like interested in living there. That would have.
No, I was gonna say the Black house is just in terms of like it's like a dorm.
Like
it's like
special interest housing. Like Laurel's, like women's
like literally housing.
Yeah, it just says literally. Like I have a picture. It says like Black for Black students.
It's literally like Laurel, but instead of women's housing, it's like people of color.
That's fire.
And that's like comfortability on another level. Like there's the intercultural space, but like for y'all to have like a space for like that space, it's not even just a space. It's a house for Black students. That That's literally like that's.
And I
the
think
topping
it's
on the
like
cake.
it could be as simple as like, yo, Jonas, people of color now.
I mean, yeah.
Like when you,
It
if
really
you
is
putting
that
up,
simple,
if you think
yeah.
about it,
Yeah.
putting up a whole 2 towers, like just
Exactly.
Yeah.
like take Jonas.
True. Yeah, that's true. That's
That's
true.
true,
Dedicate
yeah.
the whole damn thing. But I mean, in terms of numbers right now, going based off of that,
Yeah.
I think they should legit start off with a floor, see how that goes.
Yeah.
Like that's something they could do. It's measurable. Like it's realistic.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
I
It reminds
definitely
me
do
of
think, like-
Dear White People.
Like a legit area. I definitely
Imagine
do
those
think like
vibes though.
a legitimate area of like for people of color, like
Mm.
people who identify as people of color. Like this is your space.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like because that's been a big conversation of a lot of people feel that they just don't have that.
Yeah.
Right now.
That's very true.
Make a whole building a student of color building.
That'd be kind
We
of
better
fun.
get
That'd be
credit for
crazy.
this idea. I hope somebody listening.
Yo, somebody submit that patent like right now. Hey, actually, yo, I'm putting it right here. Like this is copyrighted.
It's copyrighted right now. I feel that's all up to the students, though, to be honest. Because
Yeah.
I say, like, starting off with the Black Affairs Council,
true.
something that me and DuJaun did, as well as Grant, Portia, and ASPA.
Yeah.
All the student Black leaders on campus and such. Like, you can't really, like, have that without a Black community, like a
Yeah.
strong Black
I'm
community.
gonna be
So-
straight. Like
so-
I'm glad that happened because we had the Latinx Council for like I think it was like a year and a half.
Mhm.
And I think one of the big catalysts for getting this kind of push in the Black community, I honestly feel it was A5 came on campus.
Mhm.
I think that was one really big one because all of a sudden, like now we have now y'all have representation in Greek life.
It's a shift, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and then especially in Stevens where that's such a prevalent community, like
Mhm.
me being CGC president for a while, like that was something that we really wanted to see.
Mhm.
Just representation for different parts of the community.
Definitely.
That's a good idea. You brought up
What?
About I was actually going to want you to say it again because
Oh, okay.
like I was writing that shit down. Oh, something that Black Affairs Council could do.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's what I'm saying,
You know,
because
do a
I
lot
feel
of
like,
stuff.
you know, that type of initiative, it doesn't come from higher management because they all,
Because they're not going to think to do
Nah,
it.
they ain't gonna
don't
think to
we
do
deserve
that.
it.
it's not
So,
that they
It's not-
deserve it.
they just don't think about it.
They're
They
too
ain't us.
close-minded in
They're
terms
in
of
their
like,
own bubble, right?
yeah, they're in their
Yeah.
own bubble for real. Because at the same time, like they're forward thinking with all these towers and shit, so they're not thinking about the now.
Right.
Yeah.
And at the now is what we're doing within the Black Affairs Council when it comes to us. Once again, no disclaimer that we're not talking about all minorities here on campus, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
But coming from my own experience, if you want to have a house or a space dedicated to things as such, like for example, what Nasir did, he got people like together
Mhm.
and unified within one message, and he was able to get something to happen. You know what I'm saying? So if you want a space just specifically for Black people, you got to get the Black community together and have one voice and keep them unified in order to actually make some shit happen.
Mhm.
So that's the kind of how I feel about it.
That's fact. It's like people need to, and that's one of the biggest things at Stevens. Yo, people know how to complain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People know how to
Oh,
complain,
Oh my
man.
God, yeah.
Complain about
But what are you
everything.
doing?
but-
though? You want to complain about what you're doing.
Exactly.
That's the
man.
problem.
People
Facts.
complain, then it's like, all right, come to SGA meetings. Nah, bro, that's too much of my time.
Exactly,
Yo, being RRPL. Nah, bro,
Nah,
I don't
I'm
want to
good.
get involved
One
in
of the-
school. I don't
Yep.
want to give my time.
One of the
Mhm.
greatest things, like someone told me, it was Seth Moncrief, the director of pre-college. He
Mhm.
was, well, not me, but to the pre-college staff. He was like, "Don't come complaining unless you have a solution. Like, don't like. We all need to
Whoa.
really think like that. Let that
I'm
sink
gonna shut
in.
my mic here,
Yeah,
though.
right?
Don't complain. Don't come complaining without a solution. Like, actually,
Mhm.
Yeah, man.
It really is that simple, to be honest.
Or at least like willing to brainstorm, like a plan. Like you don't even have to have a solution, but have a plan, bro.
Mhm.
Be like, yo, I see this as a problem. I don't really have a solution, but I want to get y'all in the room to think about one,
Exactly.
right? Like it's
Get the conversation started.
yeah, like
Exactly.
you need to start somewhere. You can't just like complain about it. Like
Can't be a keyboard warrior, right?
yo, those Twitter thumbs be
Yeah.
OD sometimes.
Facts. Like for example, like I remember I just had a meeting with Liliana, like a checkup meeting, and it was regarding like
Special place in my
recent
heart for
things. I know.
Liliana.
It's-
Love her.
I love her so much.
Yeah.
she's great.
But in terms of
best.
like recent events in regards to like the coronavirus and things of that nature,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, as well as like future events for BSU. And I got an update regarding Wildin' Out and stuff, right, which we just had recently.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for DJing, by the way.
Of course. Bro.
In reference to like Wildin' Out, I feel like that was definitely, I feel like that's definitely overlooked because I feel like that's something that not a lot of people realize, like, we deadass had a Wild 'N Out event on Cephas campus and it went well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man,
That's
like-
crazy to me because, like, as you said before, like, the Wild 'N Out stuff in the back of the bus, you know what I'm saying? Those are all, like, black people doing that shit. Like, Stevens, yo, come on now.
Yeah, like,
It's,
for
like,
me,
not that many, you
that
know?
was... I got that from when we had the first, like, CGC showcase.
Mm-hmm.
When we had, like, 11 orgs here. We had, like, half the D9. Like, we had, like, alphas, kappas, deltas came, and then we had, like, a bunch of Latino orgs. Bro, and I remember the first one that I DJ'd, we played Dreams and Nightmares in Bissinger,
Mm-hmm.
and we literally shook the
Oh
glass.
my god, that was the first CGC showcase.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
That shit was
Wow.
insane.
That
It was
shit was
literally
insane,
shaking.
bro.
It was shaking. Like it was like the wind of like I have videos. Like that shit was literally shaking.
Yeah, man.
Shout out to CGC and
We had
BSU
like
for putting all
100.
that
We
in.
had 100 people
It
in
was so
that
many,
room,
yeah. That
and
was
they were all
amazing.
showing at the same. Yo,
It was amazing.
and like we don't get that kind of energy.
No, never
A
that.
lot.
Like that was
Mhm.
not it. They were downstairs complaining apparently. Like
Yeah, yeah, they were.
on the first floor. We were on the fourth floor. They
Yeah,
felt it,
we had to
shaking
try
down
and
there.
find another place because
amazing.
they were just like, y'all can't be doing that to the glass.
Well, I was scared too. I was like, oh my god. Like I literally like the further shit.
It
I
was
was like,
literally like, yo, you ever seen like Aristocats? And the scene where they're in the abandoned house and all the cats are like singing and dancing, they start stomping on the pianos. The piano starts falling through all the floors. That's
oh
what I
my
think of,
God.
bro.
But yeah, great
Mhm.
events. We got to put that on again. That's always necessary.
Yeah, man, love that every year.
Like, let people see the culture, for the culture.
Of course, of course.
Yeah. I'm
Like,
excited to see what Wild 'N Out turns into because I think the more like y'all keep holding it year to year, it's gonna get bigger and bigger.
I mean, like this year was kind of like a test drive, quote unquote.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you think of Wild 'N Out at a Stevens campus, like I thought it was gonna flop low key. I don't know why. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I kind of took it upon myself as well as my e-board and everyone else that participated to make it as lit as possible. Because when you watch videos of Wild 'N Out, like that's a different type of energy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a different type of energy that you do not see anywhere on campus. You feel
Yeah,
me?
no, it's a
So-
completely different type of energy. I remember what I was at somebody's like apartment, and it was like a bunch of us PLs hanging out, and I was like, people were putting like meme videos on, things that make people laugh, and I was like, all right, let me put on a Wild 'N Out video. I put on one, most of the room was dead.
Oh my god, bro. That's
Yo,
what I'm saying.
I
Like,
was dying, bro. It was like hilarious. 'Cause no one else was like, what did we
They just
watch?
didn't- they just
Who let this man get the remote?
oh man, that's funny as fuck, man. That's like really funny to me. And then the thing about it is that not to out the other. I don't know if like this person be listening to this podcast and shit.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna say her name. But apparently someone complained, right, about the jokes,
Yeah.
and they complained about white people be like, and I'm like, all right, cool. I low key laughed inside. I was like, that's crazy, you know.
Yo,
what I'm
but
saying?
that's part of it. It's
But-
like, you know, when we were talking about being yourself?
Yeah.
Like, you can't let that, for all my minority friends out there, people of color, like, if you do something from your culture and it just doesn't hit,
Mhm.
don't shrink back into your shell because of it.
Mhm.
Like, for me playing that Wild 'N Out video, it's not like I shrunk and I was like, okay, I'm just sitting in the back and not doing anything. Like, no. Like, you can't do that because then it's just, because then all of a sudden you're like allowing your culture to not have a space,
exactly,
right? Like, be yourself
exactly,
all the time.
hmm
And if it, like, they don't catch it, like, then it's like, all right, well, more laughs for me. Like,
Exactly, yeah. But it was kind of funny because the person that complained, I don't know whether or not she did it, but we knew that the jokes at Wild 'N Out might be in bad taste or might make some people feel offended. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we put a disclaimer in the beginning of the whole entire event, like, yo, if this event gets you feeling some type of way,
y'all had
if you're
waivers.
sensitive,
Y'all
all
said
this
it
shit.
like three
Yeah,
different
waivers,
times on
we said it 3
stage.
different times. We are not professional comedians, blah, 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 blah. So this person took it within themselves to go talk to Liliana first. And I'm like, yo, that was your first mistake. Because Liliana was the one that approved this event. So, you know, I know damn well she got my back.
Liliana or
You feel
Lily?
me? Liliana. She approved the event on Duck Link, right?
Okay.
So she knew what the event was and how it is, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then she said, like, yo, in actuality, in a deeper meaning, like, Wild 'N Out is very important to culture in general.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it exposes you to certain things in a very humorous way rather than just an
Yeah.
educational way.
Right.
And it allows you to be comfortable with who you are. Because if you feel some type of ways about a white people joke, like white people be like, and you feel some type of ways about that, and I feel like I'm attacking you, that's not necessarily the case.
Yeah.
Because in actuality, I'm trying to like connect with you because that's the jokes that I have in my culture.
Yeah.
You feel me? So, I'm
That's
not
part
trying
of
to
it,
be
and it's
racist
also
or nothing,
like
but
in that space, it's like for us. So it's like, yo, I remember, I think it was Tony that was like, made the whole be calling the police on our barbecue one.
oh no, Sylvia.
Oh, Sylvia. Yeah, like
Tony was saying other things out of pocket that we probably shouldn't mention.
Yeah, we're not gonna say all that. We're not gonna say all that.
I was gonna say, wait, what you about to say? What you about to say?
Anyway, yeah, like she said that one. I was like one of the typical like old school wilding out ones that like everybody laughs at, and then I thought about it and I was like, yeah, that's like, it's just part of our culture. Like that's a thing, and it's like it's not that it's not real. It's like it's real. That shit happens.
Exactly. Like it's happened in real life, happens in society today. So
Yeah.
why are you feeling some type of ways about jokes that actually have meaning or actually are a part of
like
culture
I've been
now?
at barbecues in parks because we hold them in parks because we ain't got big houses to hold them in. That like we would have police that were like park police come by and be like, yo, you got to quiet down a little bit. They were complaining over there. They're just trying to play on the swing set with their kids or whatever. I'm just like, all right,
Exactly.
like, it happens.
So, man, like I would say like Wildin' Out was definitely like probably one of my proudest moments being BSU president right now.
Yeah.
So because of the fact that that's like the one event where shit could go wrong so quickly.
Yeah,
so quickly.
I was like, yo, all it takes is one person to take it the wrong way.
One bad joke. You know what I'm saying? And there were bad jokes that night, but
people took them in stride.
They took them in stride, and it was a good event. That's why I was so happy. You feel me? But at the same time,
props to the people you picked for that too.
Oh, thank you. That was Micah and Olivier who did that. By the way,
they picked some solid people because they knew how to take jokes and they knew how to keep it going.
Exactly. So
yeah.
But yeah, like, oh yeah, go ahead.
I have something to say about Wildin' Out. I keep telling like the E board, that like they should be like proud. Like you should be proud that that event went well because like that was an event that wasn't done in the past at all.
Yeah.
It was when you introduce a new event, like it's a lot of work.
Yeah,
it really is a lot of work.
Not to. I definitely do want to say there's a lot of other like great events that come in. We talking about Wildin' Out because it's the new one on the block.
Yeah, that's the new one. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like being that it was a new event for BSU, I would say, I guess. Like it's hard to plan, and they had no blueprint, but it still went well. Like I honestly didn't even know you was gonna be the host, but I think you did really good.
Cannon over here.
Wow, stop it.
But yeah, like having that mindset for a lot of different things too is like the way to go, and that actually really should be your proudest moment.
I mean,
and then you got Ebony Night next too, so like
yeah, facts.
That should be.
That's gonna be like my.
It's a big challenge. It's a stressful challenge.
As well as like, man, it's like I don't even know why I'm so proud of it is because it's something like. If Wildin' Out could succeed on campus, anything could succeed on campus. That's how I feel now. Because there's not many minorities here on this campus, you feel me? So, not a lot of people could probably like kind of connect with that culture or with that show. You feel me? So being able to actually bring the show onto the campus, explain it
in an authentic way.
And being able to do it with students, like not even professional comedians or nothing. Like not even Off Center was a part of this shit. Well, in terms of like performing, we had them co-host because they're a comedy club. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, having people like your own peers come out and do a show for you type shit and have it be a good event.
Because it's also, for me, it's
amazing,
like,
man.
A lot of people that identify with us, they don't get to involve with Off Center because there's so many people in Off Center that resonate with a certain type of comedy.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like Wildin' Out is like our type of comedy.
Yep.
It's different. Like they ain't gonna get it.
They ain't gonna get exactly.
And they just don't have the culture. Like, and that happens in a lot of things. Like I don't go to audio engineering club meetings a lot of the time because most of the people in that room, like they resonate with a certain type of music and act a certain type of way. And it's like, yo, like not that it's bad. It's just like that's just not the environment that I enjoy being in the most.
And that's okay too. Like
yeah, and it's like for me, it took me a little bit to understand why I like just didn't feel at home. Like I'm a music tech and I love music, but I'm not involved with the audio engineering club or the radio station that much. And for me, I was like, why not? Yeah. Especially when they like I get involved with the radio station mostly to have shows, right? But it's like the shows that they put on, they bring a certain type of act here, and usually it's not a certain type of act that I'd be listening to on the normal. So it's like it's okay to know that it's just like a space isn't your space, but
That's
don't
very
like
true.
give up on having a space like that because that place isn't giving you that space. Like, you
Mhm.
still got to make a space for yourself.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like there's still underground shows that happen. There's still hip hop acts that like exist here, and we still go to the studio every once in a while. It's just different.
Mhm.
And I still go to audio engineering club meetings and WCPR meetings when I can, and when it's like a subject that I resonate with. But if they're having like a punk rock concert, like I'm not gonna pull up to that.
Yeah, facts, facts,
Yeah.
facts.
So you just gotta like we were saying before, like know what you're passionate about, know what
Mhm.
you're not, and be okay with it.
Exactly. As well as take your own strides, and as
Yeah.
well as make sure you have the wherewithal to just get out of your own comfort zone. One, because like you said, you don't have to conform to this crowd.
Yeah.
You feel me? But do you have the wherewithal to create your own crowd too?
Yeah.
Because
And also at the end of the day, it's also when you
Mhm.
go when you're in the world is just like a. We were talking about this like I think the last episode is the world is just a bigger version of school,
yeah,
just a bigger pond, right?
basically.
You're gonna know you're gonna have to know how to interact with different kinds of people anyway. So,
so true,
getting the
yeah.
practice here, it's like
Facts.
it's great.
Mm-hmm. I know damn well when I graduate, yo, I survived Stevens, man. I can survive anywhere.
Yeah, man.
Because I feel like I definitely had to do a lot of the shit like that I want to do like for myself. If that makes
And
sense.
that's the
Like,
one thing that
even
I
though I
definitely
do have the
Yeah.
help from other peers and other students. A lot of shit that I've done is like
Yeah.
for myself.
yeah,
that
and I
makes
definitely
sense.
feel like
So
that happens for a lot of students. Like Stevens is one of those places where you really gotta do. It's a very DIY kind of place.
It makes
Like if
everyone,
you
like,
want something
self-made.
done, you gotta do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
Mhm.
Like you can't just like, I want this to happen, and then somebody will take care of it.
Mhm.
Like you gotta do it yourself.
You really gotta do that shit yourself. If you want to have a good foothold on this campus, as well as
Yeah.
make a name for yourself,
Yeah.
which goes on to a personal legacy. But at the same time, if you're really passionate about some shit, then your own personal development and your own like work that you do becomes your legacy, without you even doing anything about it. Basically,
Yeah, man.
Mm.
Sure. All right. I guess we'll start hitting some last words since coming up on an hour.
Okay.
Anybody got some last words, comments?
The way I ended it was like perfectly. Like I was giving advice.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was only me in that next. I was just thinking, I was like, I feel like this idea of self-advocacy, like advocating for yourself, is really good and get you far. Because if you want something, like, you're going to have to push yourself to do it. And no one's going to advocate for anything more besides yourself. So
Mhm.
literally just like self-advocate for yourself.
Yeah, man.
Exactly. I would say being minority on this campus, something I like, plain and simple. Do you, boo boo? You know what I'm saying?
Plain and simple.
Don't let nobody else
Do
tell you any different. You are a king. You
Do
are a
you.
queen. You are a non-conforming gender royalty. Do whatever the hell you want to do,
Yeah.
and the rest will come. That's
Yeah,
it.
man. Gosh, any last words?
Just be yourself, right? Like don't pretend to be someone. And if you feel like you are, like,
Yeah.
being self-aware is like the greatest thing you could possibly do. And just
Mhm.
like how we've been saying already, like follow your passion, because that'll lead you to everything else, right? Like even like life things, like don't like chasing the bag is fun, but like you'll get to the other end of that and you'll realize like it's kind of empty there if you're not doing something that you're not passionate about. So
Facts.
just be wary of that.
And then
Mhm.
I have another thing. So for like the minorities on campus, I feel like we have a unique challenge of stepping out of our comfort zone. We're very unique and different challenge of stepping out of our comfort zone.
And
So
we're
all the
more
challenges,
consistently in our
yeah, exactly,
outside
more
of our
in our
comfort
lives
zone.
too. And then for me, even being an art major like at Stevens and in life, like that shit's different, unique.
Yeah, we'll
But
talk
those
about
challenges,
that.
those challenges and like failures are the stuff that really shapes you. That's the
Yeah.
stuff that really like makes you a better person, a better leader. So try not to avoid them. Like actually look forward to those challenges
Mm.
and failures. So yeah. And
Preach
that's all.
this.
That's all I have.
Learning experiences, yo. Last words, just connect with the people around you.
Yeah.
Everybody got their own stuff,
Mm.
Mhm.
you know, whether they look like you or they don't. They got their own stuff. So,
Be empathetic.
yeah, be empathetic.
Fact.
Have some empathy. Everybody's got a heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All you got to do is touch it.
Wait,
Yeah.
that's a weird last. No brag.
Oh my god! I wish I could saw his face just now. But you probably would. That was so funny. He was like, just touch it.
Just touch it. I'm like, what?
Man. All right, yo. So that's another wrap for this week's episode. again, y'all can follow us on Instagram. My Instagram, JRemyHDZ. Anybody else want to show
I
out there?
get DuJaun, DUJAUN, and 2 N's.
Mine's Jash Smash. So JASHSMASH _ on Instagram.
And my name on Instagram is Akash Rana. So like my normal spelling is AKASH, but I wanted to create an original username just so like when people search me, it's like it's just
Yeah.
easier. Like I feel like
Uh-huh.
like that's mine, you know. Like there's no numbers. It's not like that's the first me.
Yeah.
So it's ACASHRANA.
Yeah, definitely follow our camera guy because
Yeah.
he takes
Yeah.
dope pictures.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for the love.
All right, word. So, yeah, thanks again for tuning in, and see you next week.
Yep.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
We all love you.
Alright, cool. Yeah. Expected to be in for at least 2 hours. This happened last time.
That was a good ass episode. 2 minutes. Thanks for coming out, bro.
Thanks for having me, man. Yeah, of course. Only took you 13 episodes to get me on here.
Hey, man. I put out feelers in the beginning, and it's like.
Oh, Julian, your pen. I was just about to take it.
Yeah, I left the notepad right there.
I'll take the notepad.